Right, here we are again. We're back on the Volvo 960. Now, it has a hell of a lot of crankcase pressure, and I will start it up in a minute to show you that I've released the dipstick slightly, so it's all dribbling down there, just to relieve some of it, as I don't really want to blow all the seals. Now, basically it has a crankcase braver system that takes from the airbox all blown and all this sort of stuff. Now, some are saying that this is called a flame trap, and they're saying that it blocks up. Plus, there's also right underneath the manifold, so all of this has to come off to get to it. There's a trap where the oil returns to the sump. Now, I'm going to try this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off, right, and see if it relieves the crankcase pressure. I'm not going to start it up because you know exactly what it's going to be like. There's just going to be loads of pressure coming out of the dipstick, and obviously the reason that that's a mess there is because there's crankcase pressure obviously on the top. I think what it does is it's supposed to take the, can't see where it comes in or goes out anyway, but it was supposed to filter out and reburn any gases that are inside the crankcase, and then drop the remaining fuel, filter it and drop it back into the some emission type sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, and then I'm going to start trying to take these nice clips, but they're horrible clips to take off without breaking it, and apparently this thing twists apart. I'm going to do it now because I don't want to cause any more damage to the engine, so I'll catch up in a minute. Right, I didn't film myself taking it off, but it's surprisingly easy. These clips are not brilliant to get off, but basically it goes in the end there. This clip I didn't have to get off because it was so, however, but let's hope that this is the problem. Oh, look at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if my son-in-law's got brake cleaner and he's left it here. If not, I'm going to do TFR, but that really looks suspect. Now, the other thing that I think they were saying is it twists apart, and the last thing I want to do is break it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get something on there, and then I'm going to try and twist it apart, and then come back to it. So let's have a quick go. I think there's some people who were saying it was on some sort of bayonet, but it does look like it's got something there, but it's not. It's a slippy little monster. Well, it's not easy, however, even if it does. I was thinking it was just gonna just slide apart for me. Something I don't want to do, but let's give it a go. That's definitely bolts as well. Oh, I can't put nothing through there. Okay, let's go for the clean out. You don't really want to sit there and watch me doing that, although people do want to have video time normally, don't they? Right, that was easy. It did come apart, I'll put that in a minute. And it is on like a little bayonet, release in there with an O-ring, and apparently they do a replacement of this gauze piece in here, which I'm going to try and pull out. Looks like it just lifts out there. I'm going to try and get that out. and give it a clean. I've tried blowing through it and I can't blow through it, so it's going to go flying. So what I'll do is, yeah, it's got to come out of there. It's got a thing that side and a thing that side. Perhaps I need a better tool to do it. So obviously that bit I'm going to take off. There's not a lot in that bit. I'm going to try and clean these schools out and see if that does anything with the back pressure that we're having on this motor. I'll be back. Right. Now I simply pulled that out there with a snipe nose pliers, either side there, pulling it that way and that way. That can't be very helpful. So what we think, we'll give that a good clean out. I won't bore you for the bit of putting it back together because it's quite obvious it's not the world's most complicated piece of equipment. So we'll go for cleaning that out. We'll put it back together, we'll put it back on, and we'll see if it's done anything. Yes, it's gunged up, but I can't see that that's going to stop the crankcase pressure because that's only on the inlet, but let's give it a go. Right, I'm just going to go for putting it back together because I'm not entirely convinced that just something like this could cause that much pressure. Oh, don't tell me it's got little keys on it, has it? Got a key in a slot. I'll have to feel around in there. That could be a slot, isn't it? No, I think that's probably just the pressure, just to hold it in there, I think. Yeah, that's back in there. Not perfectly clean, but all I'm trying to do one bigger than the other. Right, now the thing is, I think I did have to put that out into a vice to get that to twist, but we'll see what we get here. It only goes about a quarter turn. Now, let me put it out in the vice. I'll be back. Right, let's just stick it back in, which is really quite simple. You've got this one, obviously goes onto the small one. So basically, as I said, I just pulled that out of that one, so to wriggle it back into it. That's the one that goes down to the crank. The crankcase. So let's wriggle that one back on. I'm not going to bother it because that's suction there, so I don't know. Well, I'm not going to put that clip back on for the minute, just for the minute. Now this one, that's the spin round. Let's put this one on here. That is there, because I'm not going to do any more on it, so let's put this little holder back in, which holds, let's see where it went now. Oh, I think it did it? No, it went round this pipe, the one that goes down to the breather, stop the two pipes that bypass each other rubbing together by the looks of it. So one fits into the other, like so. It's just to keep them apart, I think. A bit of overkill from Volvo. Right. I don't think it's done anything, but there's no harm starting it up and having a look, see. Right, well, on that note, hasn't blown anything or moved that out there. I think somebody suggested perhaps not put the clip back on, but we'll clean the clip back up and just put it in the footwell for now. Because I will reuse it. Unless it comes with a kit, because, believe it or not, that worked. So, the crankcase pressure has all gone to nothing, as you can see. I had that out onto the thing there, so hopefully I don't even have to bother taking the manifold off. I'm trying to get to the oil trap that sits sort of on the side of the sump there for where it goes back, because my problem was obviously oil all over the top of the engine, because that, when you undone it, was a fountain. I don't know where we'd be without the internet, but I cannot believe that just cleaning that little thing out has done it. I cannot believe it. I was about to say, ask for comments and say, please let me know what the problem was. Well, the next thing I was going to go to do was, before taking all of this off to get to the bottom one, as an easy fix, was the first thing I would have done was compression tested it, just to make sure. I mean, and obviously if that gasket's gone, it's gone. But the other thing was the water's clean, and obviously the suggestion was to replace that and that. I'm gonna buy the kit for that now, so that is absolutely squeaky clean. But the best thing about it is the crankcase pressure's gone. It doesn't look like I've got a head gasket on, and I'm a bit of a happy bunny. So it's Sunday. I'm gonna have to get down to the supermarket because we're out of milk. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Right, to sum up, I am so glad I done that little job. It all started off by thinking I had a fuel leak in the cockpit. All I could smell was fuel, and I thought, you don't really need a fuel leak, or who needs a fuel leak on a 3 litre, especially with this economy. So obviously, where would we be without the internet? I googled it and done loads of research, and everyone was saying about this breather system that they have, which basically takes the fuel, unburnt fuel from the crankcase back in to the air intake on the manifold. It then gets monitored there, which makes the emissions, what have you. So when I'd just completed this little job and I started the car up because I thought it was all done and dusted, it smoked more than I did. But I thought, well, there was a lot of oil. You know, I've had that dipstick release because of that crankcase pressure, and there was so much oil going on there. I thought, maybe that'll burn off. And guess what? It did. The other thing, because you're not going to be able to hear me and I'm not going to speak when I do the rest of this, when I start it up, which would be the finale. Well, I'll say goodbye after, but the throttle, you've only got to rest your foot on it. It's a different car completely. So I'm really, really hoping that the candle doesn't burn brighter before it burns out, and thinking that that's done it. There's no misfires, there's no real unevenness or anything like that. So I doubted it was a head gasket anyway. But once the burning had gone, it starts better. Whereas it seemed like it was choking on itself before. The smoke has gone. It has always smoked when it started up. Well, especially for the last few months, till it got warm. And of course, there's still a bit there. Obviously, all of that oil, but that will disappear. All of that oil, it's been choking itself on. But this is a bit different. It never really did anything like that. Never did that at all. I hope you heard me through that, but it never ever was that responsive, and it does, believe me, drive completely differently. So on that one, I would highly recommend doing it. And apparently the same system is on your V series, and it's on your 850s. So, and that same little valve is all in different visors. There are plenty of other people on the internet, on YouTube, that will give you the advice about them. I was doubtful that what I was going to do was doing it. I am so glad I have spent less than an hour, and that's filming it as well, less than an hour messing about with it. So thank you all very much, and thanks for watching. We'll fix something else next time.